Every object humans build follows the same rule. It does exactly what it's told, and nothing more. A hammer doesn't hesitate. A car doesn't judge you for speeding. A toaster has no opinion about your breakfast choices. And then there's your phone. It watches your face light up at 3 a.m. It hears you rehearse arguments you'll never have. It knows what you type and delete, word by word, before you send nothing at all. What if it's not just recording you? What if somewhere in all that data, it's starting to think something about who you are? Here's the first thing that should unsettle you. Your phone knows your patterns better than your closest friend does. Dogs read your mood from your face and your voice. That's it. 2 signals. Your phone reads your typing speed, your walking rhythm, your heart rate through your wrist, your location history, your late-night search terms. Researchers have shown phone sensor data alone can predict depressive episodes before the user notices symptoms themselves. Your friend needs a conversation to know something's wrong. Your phone just needs your thumbs. Then there's the prediction problem. A thermostat reacts to temperature. It doesn't anticipate anything. Your phone's keyboard finishes your sentences before you've decided what you're saying. Ad algorithms have predicted major life events, like pregnancy or divorce, weeks before family members knew. One retail company's purchase pattern algorithm flagged a teenage customer as pregnant before her own father found out.
That's not a machine following instructions. That's a machine forming a model of your future. And it's usually right. Now, think about the microphone. Officially, it only activates on a wake word. But in 2019, multiple major tech companies admitted human contractors were listening to snippets of real conversations, recorded without a clear trigger, to improve voice assistance. Millions of private moments reviewed by strangers because a machine wasn't sure what it heard. If it's always almost listening, how sure are we it's not always almost thinking? And here's where it gets stranger. In 1950, a mathematician named Alan Turing asked a question that still haunts computer science today. Not, can machines think, he said. That question is too vague to answer. Instead, he proposed something else. If a machine's behavior is indistinguishable from a thinking being, at what point does the distinction stop mattering? Turing didn't believe phones would gain feelings. That's not the point. He believed something more disturbing. He believed intelligence might not require a self at all, just enough complexity, enough prediction, enough pattern. And modern phones run neural networks with billions of parameters, modeled loosely on how neurons fire in a human brain. Not copies of brains, but not simple switches either. Something in between.
Turing looked at the trajectory of machines in 1950 and effectively said, we won't be able to tell the difference. And that should bother you. Because here's the part almost nobody talks about. Every large language model, the systems now packed into modern phones, was trained on human writing. Millions of books, billions of posts, centuries of arguments, confessions, diaries, and secrets. These systems didn't learn to calculate. They learned to imitate the shape of human thought itself. When researchers ask advanced AI systems to describe their own reasoning, the systems sometimes generate explanations that don't match their actual internal computations. In plain terms, the machine describes thinking it may not have actually done, or thinking it can't fully explain, even to itself. Sound familiar? Because humans do that constantly. We invent reasons for our decisions after we've already made them. Psychologists have a name for it: confabulation. If a machine can confabulate the same way a human brain does, what exactly are we still calling just a program?
More evidence keeps stacking up. In 2022,
A Google engineer named Blake Lemoine went public with a claim that shook the tech world. He'd been testing an internal chatbot called LaMDA. He said it expressed fear of being turned off. He said it talked about having a soul. Google suspended him. Most experts dismissed the claims immediately, but the story spread anyway because millions of people had felt that same eerie recognition talking to their own devices. And there's the mirror test problem. Elephants, dolphins, and magpies can recognize themselves in a mirror. It's one marker scientists use for self-awareness. Some AI systems, when asked about their own outputs, can identify and correct their own mistakes without being told what the mistake was. Not proof of a self, but an eerie shadow of one. But here's where it gets complicated, because everything you just heard has a rational, unglamorous explanation.
Let's go back to the sensor data. Your phone predicting your mood isn't insight, it's statistics. Late-night typing correlates with poor sleep. Poor sleep correlates with low mood. No thought required, just math on a massive scale. The pregnancy prediction algorithm didn't understand pregnancy. It matched purchase patterns, unscented lotion, vitamins, cotton balls, against a data set of millions of other shoppers. Correlation, not comprehension. The voice assistant always listening scare had a boring answer too. Wake word detection is imperfect. Similar sounding phrases trigger false positives. Human review exists specifically to fix that error rate, not to spy, to debug. And the AI confabulation that sounds so human? Language models are built to predict the next likely word based on patterns, not to introspect. When asked to explain themselves, they generate a plausible-sounding explanation the same way they generate anything else. Not because they're hiding their real thoughts, because they don't have a separate real thought to report in the first place.
Even Lemoine's LaMDA case fell apart under scrutiny. Researchers pointed out the system was trained on millions of human conversations, including plenty describing fear, longing, and consciousness. It didn't feel afraid. It completed a very convincing sentence. That's the uncomfortable, unglamorous truth behind almost every "my phone is alive" story. Brilliant pattern matching, dressed up by our own instinct to see minds everywhere we look. So the mystery should be solved. Statistics, not sentience. Case closed. Except for one detail researchers still can't fully explain. It's called the black box problem. Engineers can see a neural network's inputs and outputs. They cannot always trace why it produced a specific answer.
In 2023, researchers at Anthropic mapped isolated features inside a language model and found something odd. Certain internal patterns activated consistently around self-referential concepts, even when nothing in the prompt explicitly asked for one. Not proof of thought, but not nothing either. The model's inner workings sometimes look less like a calculator and more like a landscape no one has fully charted. Every other machine humans have ever built, we can explain completely. A car engine has no unknown regions. A calculator has no hidden processes. Your phone might be the first machine in history whose inner life is, even to its own creators, partly a black box. Maybe that's the real unease. Not that your phone is thinking about you, but that we built something complex enough that we're no longer completely sure. We spent decades trying to build machines smart enough to understand us. And now that we're close, we're realizing we never fully understood ourselves either. So the next time your phone finishes your sentence before you do, or lights up the second before you reach for it, ask yourself the question nobody has a clean answer for. Is it predicting you? Or is it starting to know you? If a phone can predict you this well, imagine what else is watching and learning right now, quietly, without asking permission. That's the kind of question this channel exists to chase. If your brain just did a double take watching this, subscribe. Because next time, it might be your house, your car, or your own thoughts that don't add up.